Hello, Ready, Set, Gold. I'm Giddeon Massie. I'm a two-time Olympian in the sport of track cycling. I competed in the Athens and Beijing Olympics. I'm originally from Pennsylvania, and I moved to Colorado, lived and trained out of Colorado Springs at the Olympic Training Center for approximately 7 or 8 years, and eventually ended up in California where I finished my career. Today, I'm excited to have the opportunity to speak with you about something that's important to me, the topic of perseverance. And it's probably a word that you've heard very often in a lot of different subjects, in a lot of different manners and ways. As an Olympic athlete, perseverance is a mainstay of our ability to ultimately achieve being an Olympic athlete, or ideally winning medals. So perseverance is a crucial part of being an Olympic athlete, and an aspect that you're probably understood, but I'll repeat it for the sake of our conversation today, is that Olympic athletes' careers can be are generally take place in 4-year cycles. So there's a lot of time, not only the build up to hopefully achieving an Olympic team, but also being able to compete in multiple Olympic teams. There's a lot of time that takes place, and perseverance is something where it really is paramount for us to continue to press through and be positive and roll through the difficulties and the challenges that we face day in and day out. We fail a lot more than we succeed as Olympic athletes, and you'll find that to be true also in life. So how we persevere, it's like a muscle, and it's something that we want to train just as we do physically, and we have physical attributes that we focus on. And perseverance is something that's very personal and internal to us. It's not something that you can necessarily tangibly hold or see, but it is something that you can act out on a regular basis. And it could be a very small thing, or it could be a very large thing. So I'll give you an example of a perseverance in my sport. We have a national championships every year. And over the span of approximately 4 years, I competed in one of the disciplines I competed in. I finished second 4 years in a row to 4 different athletes, 4 different competitors. And losing one time at a national championships is disappointing. But following up 2 and 3 and 4 times, where the expectation is you're going to do well, that can be challenging. But ultimately, I did end up competing in that event again, the 5th time and many more times, and I did end up winning a national title in that event. And I could have just said, you know what, I can't do it, or this isn't for me, or it's just not going to happen. But I didn't, because I knew it was something that I could achieve. I knew it was something that I could work at, and I knew that I would ultimately have another opportunity to get a shot at a clean slate. Doesn't matter what happened in the past. I can come out, have a great approach, great attitude, and hopefully achieve that thing. So these setbacks and these challenges that we face as athletes, or as in other areas of life, those are opportunities. They're opportunities to learn. They're opportunities to reassess maybe things we're doing well and things that we could do a little bit better. And when you face that setback in that area, just think about trying that one more time, because that could be the time where it all comes together and it makes that achievement even more special in the moment. So the other thing I would offer is that, like, how do we practice perseverance? Like, what does this look like in my walk of life? So a way that you could do that is continuing to do the little things well and just chipping away. It's okay to be disappointed, but don't be discouraged. And continuing to press forward, always keeping your eye on that thing in the future that you're striving for, and being okay with sometimes it doesn't work out, and that's fine. And we just work through that, but we don't quit. We persevere, we get better, we learn from our mistakes, and hopefully at some point in the future we do achieve that thing that we set out to achieve. If it takes a while, if it takes 4 years, if it takes 2 months, that's okay. but we continue to work at it. Perseverance is one of those traits, those qualities that will help us sift through why we're there. And maybe an example is being in a classroom, in a class that you do not like. You know what, you're not gonna get out of it. You're there, you need to be there. How do you best utilize that experience in that moment and have it be something that is ultimately going to be to your benefit and to your good? Because I assure you, as uncomfortable as it is, maybe in that one situation that you might be in now, it won't be the last one. You will encounter that again, but if we can manage that now and then kind of like put a positive spin on it and understand that it will come to a conclusion. It's not infinite, it won't go on forever, but let's be positive about it, let's persevere, let's push through, let's overcome it. We will be better for it on the next challenge that arises, the next opportunity we have that we can exercise perseverance. You will get better at it, and it's always worthwhile. It's always worth it. Okay guys, so I have a little bit of a workout for you planned today. We're gonna go through a very short warm-up. I'm gonna demo the exercises as we go, and I'll give brief explanations as to why we're doing them and how they will help. First exercise, we're gonna warm up our shoulders a little bit. And it's just gonna be a shoulder movement from our pocket, our front pocket, going all the way around to our back pocket. So it's gonna look a little bit like this. I have my, it's warming up the shoulder joint. So hand at our front pocket, my front right pocket, because I have my right hand out front. I'm gonna rotate all the way up, rotate at the top, and then bring it back down to my back pocket. And I'm gonna come back and forth, nice and slow, getting a good stretch. Like so, and then I'll switch and do the other arm. It doesn't have to be fast, but make sure you get a good stretch for warming up the shoulder joint. Just like that. Now our shoulders are warmed up a little bit. We're gonna kind of get our heart rate up just a little bit. Very easy way to do that are jumping jacks. We'll do them in place. And you guys know how to do a jumping jack, so we'll do it together. So one more warming up the joints of our hip. So we're gonna bring it down from the shoulders down to our hips. And this one's gonna require a little bit of balance, and also again, we're not going for speed. We're just going to be very intentional, very slow and deliberate as we do it. So I'm gonna bring one knee up. I'll be balancing on one leg. It doesn't matter which leg you start on, but I'm going to rotate out. So I'm going to bring my heel away from my body, and then I'm going to bring my leg back like I'm going over a hurdle, and then bring it forward again. And then I'm going to retrace that and bring it back through and finish here. Okay, so we're taking our time. If you need to grab a chair or something or lean against that, that's okay. But we're just warming up our hips. If you feel a little bit of a pinching sensation in your hip, that's okay too. But we're really warming up that hip joint. And imagine there's a hurdle that I'm bringing my leg over, and then I'll switch legs, do the same thing with the other leg. Okay, now we've done that, our heart rate's up a little bit from the jumping jacks. We're gonna do mountain climbers, engage a bit of our shoulders, definitely our core. I'm gonna bring it down to the ground, kind of be in a push-up position, and I'm gonna move, I'll do it slowly first, so I'll bring one leg, one foot, my knee is coming up to just the outside here. It'll go back, and then this one will come forward. So if we do it, so sometimes your knee can come out a little bit, or you can keep the knees right underneath you, directly underneath, like this. Or if you want a little bit more hip mobility stretching, you can bring it to the outside and do something like that. So you've got kind of two options. So now we're gonna work maybe a little bit of an agility aspect to what we're doing. Imagine that there's a line along the ground here, and you're standing on one side of that line, and we're just gonna move laterally from side to side. So small jump, So it'll look like this. Slight bend in my knees, feet are mostly together, maybe just inside our hip width. Just bouncing back and forth. Right, now we're going to go take that imaginary line, spin it horizontally, and we're going to go forward and back. On our toes, just like that. Okay, so we've done the side to side with both of our legs. Now we're gonna take up the skill level just a little bit, and very carefully, if you can, so you don't twist your knee or roll your ankle, lift your one foot off the ground, and we're gonna do the same thing side to side. And it's okay if you go a little slower for that movement. Okay, we've done side to side with a single leg, and remember that we're going to do single leg. You'll do one leg, and once you've completed that, you'll use your other leg to do the same movement, but now we're going to go forward and backward again, single leg. Over that imaginary line. Just like that. So now we're going to incorporate some dynamic stretching. I think these are kind of fun to do myself. There's a little bit of not very good at gymnastics, but maybe a gymnastics aspect to it. So we will start on the ground. And it will focus on mostly on our hamstrings as we do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll back onto my back. As I come forward, I'm going to put one leg out, we'll say my left leg this time, and my right leg is going to be bent just like this, so I'm stretching forward. So it'll look like this. I'm going to go back, lean forward, touch my toe, come back, the toe, come back, touch the center. The fourth movement is going to be, and you can choose to add this in if you like. I think it's kind of fun, but the fourth movement is going to look like this. You're going to roll back and stand on your feet. So it looks like this. You'll roll back, stand to your feet. So try and just roll, get momentum a little bit, and then come to that position, roll back. Just like that. So we've done the warm up. Hopefully our heart rate's up a little bit, and it's even okay if you're sweating a little bit. That's perfect. We're gonna go into a reverse lunge. I like the reverse lunge because to me it's a little bit easier movement on my knees. So I'll do a forward facing and then side facing. So reverse lunge, 1 foot. You can have your hands on your hip for balance, or if you want to on your sides, that's okay too. The range of motion might be if you touch your knee to the ground, touching, not hitting, not banging the knee, but touching, that's okay. If you can't quite get down that low, that's also okay. So we're gonna do squats now. Very familiar with those, I'm sure. But this one I'm gonna change it up just a little bit, and we're constantly going to be in a working pattern. So the first movement, we're gonna have our feet maybe slightly outside shoulder width. We're going to go down to about a quarter squat, come back up, and then go all the way down, and then all the way back up. And that's one. So again, it'll look kind of like this in real time. So we've done reverse lunges, but now we're going to add a little bit of a dynamic aspect to the lunge, and we're going to incorporate a jump. So we'll be switching feet as we go, and it'll look kind of like this. Just like that. We've done a couple exercises now for our lower body. We're gonna move it up a little bit, work on our upper body, and we're gonna do push-ups, but this time we're only focusing on the down movement. Probably one of the more challenging parts of the push-up is pushing up off of the ground. The eccentric movement of the push-up, which is just the lowering portion, we're gonna focus on that, not so much the pushing part. I think you'll get a benefit which will make the pushing a little bit easier once you've maybe gone through a couple gone through this exercise a couple times, but for our purposes today, we're just focusing on lowering ourselves down. Once we've lowered ourselves down, back to the top, you can kind of walk your hands back out, reset, start again. And it's okay, you don't have to push up off unless you're really good at push-ups and you want to do that. It's okay to just come up to your knees, shake your arms, walk, get ready to do it again, and then go back down. So we've worked our legs a bit, we've worked our upper body a little bit. Now we're gonna focus again on our core. We're gonna bring it down to the ground. The goal is to have our feet off the ground and our shoulders off the ground, and just kind of teeter on our lower back area. So it'll look kind of like this. So our core is engaged the whole time. Our feet are off the ground. Our shoulders are off the ground. And we just add a little bit of a rock to it. And then the final movement, again, working the big muscles in our legs. We're gonna bring it down to the ground one more time. I'm gonna have my have my toes slightly elevated, laying here on my back, and I'm gonna lift my hips to the sky. So I'm gonna lift them up here, hold for a second, bring it back down. So I should feel my hamstrings working. I should feel my muscles back here working. And then after that, if you've done both legs together, to challenge yourself, you can do a single leg. So same thing, one foot elevated. Just like so. Now the goal is to keep our core engaged and to try and keep our hips level. Imagine that there's a glass or a cup of water on our belly, and we don't want to lean so that glass spills. So we want to try and keep our hips nice and flat. So guys, thank you for hanging out today, spending a few minutes with me. I hope that you enjoyed the workout. Remember that that's something that you can do at any point in time. You don't need me there. I look forward to seeing you next time, and we'll do it again. And a special thanks to Foundation for Global Sports Development and Sidewinder Films.